If you dread the idea of searching for a job, then this video is for you. Imagine waking up excited to go to work, feeling proud of your career. And it may sound like a dream, but it doesn't have to be. Job searching can be an overwhelming experience filled with self-doubt, anxiety, and uncertainty. But again, it doesn't have to be. Today, we're going to talk about how to start this next phase of your career with confidence and clarity. We're going to break down the barriers that you might be experiencing and discover how to land a good job. My name is Scott Treese. I'm the founder of Life Sketch Counseling and Coaching. After 15 years in career development, I've coached hundreds of young adults and have seen firsthand how the right approach can transform not only your career, but your entire life. Let's review what we're going to be covering today. First, we're going to address what keeps people stuck in their job search and the key to overcoming it. Then, we're going to talk about the secret to this job search success, which might surprise you. And then we'll walk through a proven job search formula to help you launch or pivot your career. And if you find this information helpful and want to keep up with more tips, don't forget to like or subscribe, as it will help me producing some of this content. Let's start by addressing the biggest problem that most job seekers face. And if your job search isn't working, right, you're just not getting enough interviews or job offers, or you're setting out resumes and just hearing crickets, or the way you're conducting your job search is ineffective. You find yourself procrastinating or struggling with time management, lacking the discipline to follow through on your tasks, then you're most likely lacking focus in your job search. If you're unfocused, it means that you lack clarity about what you want in your career. You haven't made any concrete goals. You haven't have a specific job in mind, so you can't effectively communicate your value and sell yourself. So you end up applying to anything you see, making it impossible to stand out from the competition. And this lack of focus creates chaos in the job search process. You're moving in too many directions at once, unsure of where to concentrate your efforts. And this uncertainty leads to procrastination, poor time management. This lack of focus also makes the job search chaotic. You're moving in too many different directions at once, unsure of where to concentrate your efforts. This uncertainty leads to procrastination, poor time management, and a failure to follow through on key tasks. The result is feeling lost and discouraged, which only fuels this cycle of doubt, lowering your confidence and motivation. And this downward spiral is really hard to get out of. Which makes me curious, what's the challenge that you're experiencing in your job search? Feel free to comment below and let's start a conversation. But the solution is simple: adopting a strategic framework, a focused approach. Without this strategic framework, you're not being judged on your abilities or qualifications or even your potential. You're being judged on how good you are at job searching in itself. I mean, let's face it, you have to be good at selling yourself. And without this clear direction or concrete plan, you lack the focus that you need to be successful in this transition. By adopting a strategic approach, you can be more effective, getting more interview and job offers. You can be more efficient, focusing your efforts, managing your time and energy, and rebuilding that confidence and motivation, especially when you start to see results. So now let's start to overview the job search process so that you have a firm foundation to build this strategic approach. In this next section, we're going to break down the job search process into manageable steps. We're going to look at what employers are actually looking for, how you can effectively position yourself, and the key actions you need to take to move from uncertainty to success. By the end of this overview, you're going to have a clear roadmap to follow, turning your job search into a focused and productive journey. Let's start with some core assumptions. First, there's an employer, right? There's someone out there who needs someone to help them. They're looking to fill a role, someone who can meet their needs and solve their problems. And this employer has choice. They have the power to select a candidate that they believe will be the best fit for a position. And it's all based on trust. Employers are more likely to choose a candidate they trust, and all the better if they like you too. Now let's talk about you from the candidate perspective. We're going to assume that you want this job, and you need to ensure that you stand out as the best candidate. But you can't force the employer to choose you. You have to influence their decision by presenting yourself effectively. You need to persuade employers and make them trust that you have what it takes to do the job, that you can be successful, that you care, that you are motivated and genuinely interested in the job, and that you're compatible, that you're going to be a good fit for the company and the position, as well as the other people that you're going to be working with. So, the goal of the job search is to connect with a person who has the power and the authority to hire you and compel them to hire you. Here's what this looks like. The job search process is a journey with several distinct phases. You're going to start by generating opportunities and reaching out to potential employers. This is the connection phase. And there are a few main strategies for this. There's hunting, where you're implementing a networking strategy to generate referrals and contacts with your ideal employer. There's fishing, where you're pursuing posted positions online. And then there's farming, where you're attracting employers and opportunities through things like your LinkedIn profile or just through your experience. Once you've identified these opportunities, you're going to start to formally submit an application through resume or cover letter, or if there's a pre-formed type of application. And your goal is to be one of those 3 to 5 people who are offered an interview. And there's screenings interviews where they're sort of weeding that out, and then there's selection interviews where they're actually choosing the person to be in there. Once they go through the interview process, you're going to get a job offer. This is where you can then negotiate the terms, and then you can choose whether to accept or decline the offer. And then you start. This is where you onboard, train, and then start to grow and eventually become more autonomous into your position. To execute your job search effectively, you're going to need a few different things. First, you're going to need some communication tools, right? A professional email, phone, and professional voicemail, or there's also somewhat of professional accounts through, yes, like LinkedIn, but you also might be creating accounts on Glassdoor or Indeed. You're also going to need marketing materials. This is your strong resume or CV. Sometimes you'll need a cover letter, these polished profiles on platforms. And you're going to need management systems, plans, tracking tools, calendars, reminders, and notes to stay organized. Now that you have a solid understanding of the job search process, it's time to address a crucial element that could be missing in your strategy. And this isn't a cheap resume hack or a way to manipulate others. It's all about empathy, where you're putting yourself in the shoes of the employers. So what do they want? What do they need? What are the problems that they're experiencing? And dig down, right? What are their pain points and their deep desires? And then when you understand that enough, you genuinely communicate the value you can provide and how you could solve those problems or fulfill those desires. From making more money for their organization to building company culture, you're going to showcase how you can truly help them. One thing I have to remind my clients over and over is that this is not about you. When you realize this, you can feel immediate release of pressure. The resume isn't about you. It's simply a document highlighting your relevant skills and experience. The cover letter isn't about you. It's writing about why you're interested in this particular opportunity and employer. And the interview isn't about you. It's where you can have a back and forth conversation with an employer, sharing stories about how you might fit. When you make the job search not about you, but the employer, you're not just thinking about what you want, you're focusing on how you can serve the needs of the employer you're reaching out to. This shift in mindset not only helps you find a better job faster, it's actually the core of a satisfying and even a financially successful career. To illustrate how empathy can transform your job search, let's look at a case study involving Tim, a 30-year-old high school coach and a part-time paraeducator. Tim is seeking a more stable and financially secure career, especially with his wife expecting their first child. He's on the verge of completing his licensure to become a home appraisal and needs to make a successful career transition. Tim starts by identifying employers such as bank, lenders, or municipal property tax offices, right? He thinks, who's actually hiring? Then he researches what these employers are looking for in a home appraiser, including required skills, qualifications, or personal characteristics. He reviews several job descriptions for appraisers to understand common requirements and expectations. Tim assesses how his background in coaching and education can translate into the appraiser role. He evaluates his competencies and transferable skills, such as attention to detail, communication, and analytical skills. He refines his personal narrative to highlight his relevant career aspirations, his passion for construction and housing, and his motivation for transitioning into this new field. Tim uses this empathetic approach to tailor his resume and cover letters to address the specific needs of potential employers. He focuses on how his skills and experiences align with the requirements and can solve their problems. During interviews, Tim emphasizes his understanding of the appraiser role and how his unique background makes him a valuable candidate for this position. He also engages in networking with empathy, seeking to build value and seeking to offer value by building meaningful and mutually beneficial connections within the industry. By starting with empathy, Tim has a clear roadmap for his job search. He's able to align his materials and the interview responses to what employers are truly seeking, making his approach more targeted and effective. With empathy as your foundation, let's continue into the job search formula. This includes targeting, tailoring, and managing your search and yourself effectively. Targeting means that you have a defined, specific search criteria. Here are the 5 elements. You're going to have your job title or the role that you're actually interested in and qualified for. You're going to have your field articulated, the industries that you're passionate about. You're going to know what type of job search status that you're looking for, full-time, part-time, freelance, contract. You're going to have your location specified. So where do you actually want to work? And then you're going to have your employers, which companies, which people align with your value and goals. So from this list, you're going to have a very clear, very specified job search criteria. And you may feel some resistance to this, not wanting to eliminate opportunities. And you've probably been told it's a numbers game. And in some ways that's true, but maybe not how you might think. Again, let's start by taking the employer's perspective. Since the expansion of the internet, it's never been easier to apply for positions, while also it's never been more difficult to hire. Think about it. The stakes are high for employers. It's expensive to recruit, interview, and train, and it's a disaster when a new hire doesn't work out. Plus, employers are overwhelmed. On average, right now, there's 250 applications per position. So they are fully overwhelmed. And that's why an employer can only take about 6 to 10 seconds to review the resume, where then what their goal is to try to get 3 to 5 piles in the interview. Now, whether that's a human actually reviewing this or some sort of software, it really is in the same process. It's trying to weed out this giant pile and get to where there's only 3 to 5 people that they can actually have a conversation with, talk with. Your goal is to make it really, really easy to hire you. We stand out from the crowd by specifying our target. This is why the spray and pray approach to job searching doesn't work, where you're sending out countless resumes, because it only adds to the chaos. What we want to do is tailor our applications to the specific opportunity in mind. It's sort of like walking down a noisy, crowded hallway. And if I'm shouting to you, hey, you, it's just another random person, just another random noise. But if I shout your name, someone says to me, hey, Scott, we somehow tune it in and cut through the commotion. This is known as the cocktail party effect, a phenomenon where we filter out irrelevant information subconsciously and somehow pick up on anything that has to do with us. Which brings us to tailoring, where our goal is to make every application, every interaction count. Tailoring means customizing your approach to fit the specific need of each job opportunity. Tailoring our message is calling out that specific employer regarding what they truly care about. So how do you tailor your job search? First, you could tailor your personal brand. Often people think of a professional or a personal brand as only for social media influencers or LinkedIn jockeys. We see this concept as just talking about our own interests or hobbies, or bragging about how good we are. But the heart of our personal brand is our professional identity. You know, if someone asks you, what do you do? Or what jobs are you looking for? You could say accountant or anything, or I don't know. Or you could say this type of statement. As an accountant, I help small business owners whose books are in chaos to control their money and experience financial peace. Right? You look at our formula. As a job title, I help employer with problems to desired outcomes by your process. This should be reflected in your interactions, your professional profiles, and in your applications. This is why I recommend a 100% unique resume per position you apply for. You start by researching the position in the company. You reverse engineer that job description, and then you reflect that in your application, your resume, your cover letter, your emails, whatever it is that you're sending to them for the job application. And you continue this into the interview phase. At this point, you've already identified key characteristics for success, your required competencies and qualifications. You've thought about relevant experience. Now you develop rich, engaging stories as examples. You're asking enlightening questions, and you're attempting to turn this interview into a conversation rather than an interrogation. Our last area is all about management, an overlooked key to success. Think of your career as your business, where you're selling yourself. Not only are you the product and the service provider, you're also the CEO. This is where you work on the business, not just in it. This means that you need to be organized, proactive, and self-disciplined. Manage your job search effectively can make all the difference in a successful search versus one that stalls. You need systems for managing tasks and projects. There's a ton to track and lots to do. Applications, follow-ups, deadlines, etc. So you need to use to-do lists, spreadsheets, reminders, or however it is that you get things done. It's also imperative that you structure your schedule and routines. You want to work on building productive habits where you have a game plan for what you're doing, when and where. And you need to pay attention to yourself throughout this process. Remember, you're selling yourself. You need to be healthy, confident, and ready to start on day one. So prioritize your well-being. Ensure that you're taking care of your physical and mental health. Regular exercise, healthy eating, getting enough sleep are vital. Seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out for mentors, career coaches, or peers. Don't underestimate the role of social accountability and our need for encouragement and feedback. Managing your job search effectively means being organized, maintaining a routine, and taking care of yourself. In summary, job searching is a skill that can be developed. With the right strategy, you can be efficient and effective. It's not about you. We start with empathy. So who's your target? The person with the power and authority to hire you. Try to directly connect with them through networking or applying. Showcase exactly how you can help them in your messaging, application, and interview. And utilize a system for managing not only your time and tasks, but your attention and energy too. And with a strategic approach, there's no need to put 40 hours a week into your job search. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like or subscribe button and leave a comment below. If you're looking for more personalized guidance, visit lifesketch.co, where we specialize in helping adults with ADHD build healthy, wealthy, happy lives and careers. See you next time.